human to each other? Can we change our immediate surroundings? Can we promote justice? Larry Souter ponders these questions in this series, Joy of Peacemaking. Here's Larry Souter.
Hello, this is Larry Souter. Welcome to Joy of Peacemaking, a series of messages written for you by Demir Kramrich. Isn't it hard to live in today's world? I mean, seriously, just take a look around you. There are so many crises around us. As immigrants have flocked to the European Union, cultural differences between native Europeans and immigrants have caused huge problems. In the Western Hemisphere, people from Honduras hoping to travel to USA have passed through Mexico in large numbers, causing tension there and at the U.S.-Mexican border. Back in Eastern Europe, historical differences between Russia and Ukraine continue to lead to deadly confrontations. Then there are tensions in the Far East and big problems with the Arab nations and Israel. Everywhere you look, there are problems, strife, war, and unrest. And at the same time, at almost all of these crisis points, one word is being repeated: peace. Everybody wants peace, but peace is so hard to find on our planet. What the world needs today more than anything else is a true peacemaker. Someone who can teach us and show us how to bring in real peace. But where do we look? Is there such a person? There once was a time when the greatest teacher of all times walked this earth. He was a humble and modest pilgrim who sought to find lost ones. He was a man with a lion's heart, shown to the world as a meek lamb. He was the true peacemaker. His virtue was to show to the human race how to be human to each other. He told us that it is more blessed to give than to receive. We are fortunate enough that today we still read his words as they're written down in the book of books, the Bible. Let me introduce you to the teaching of a master peacemaker. His name is Jesus Christ. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. I hope you liked his words because they are true and bear witness to everything that is happening today. With his words, Jesus encompassed many areas of human interactions. The most significant thought is at the end of the brief speech we just heard. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. You see, the equation is quite simple. If you want to be called a child of God, you must be on the team of the peacemakers. We have seen how so many people today want to bring in peace, but in the long run, they fail miserably. This is because they play for the wrong team. Their leader is not Jesus, but someone else. When your leader is Jesus Christ, then something happens with your heart. It is a miraculous thing that demands faith in God. Do you still remember his words I read to you a moment ago? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. That is to say, if we want to be true peacemakers, our hearts need to be pure. Of course, we all know our hearts are not pure, which brings us back to Jesus, who can make our hearts pure if we humbly ask him to change our way of living. If you are willing to let the master peacemaker be your everyday guide, he will help you with your problems, and he will turn your life around for the better. Only he has the power to make a true peacemaker out of you. Try him, even today. May God bless you as you strive to please God, God's way. This is Larry Souter sharing with you a message from Demir Kramrich in Stockholm, Sweden.
I'm Jonathan McKee, and you're listening to Plugged In. We've all heard stories of predators trying to connect with kids on social media, but it's also something that happens when playing video games. So here's something you can do as a parent. You can start by talking with your kids about the fact that the people you meet while gaming may not always be who you think they are. Predators can tell you any story that suits them and pretend to be children or teens just to get through your virtual front door. Talk to your kids about setting their games to allow friends only, especially in their chat settings. But also teach your kids how to recognize predatory behaviors when they do encounter people online, like someone asking inappropriate personal questions. And you should always encourage your children to come to you with anything that makes them feel the slightest bit uncomfortable. That's a good start. Want more details and pointers? Visit pluggedin.com/radio. I'm Jonathan McKee for Focus on the Family. Plugged In.
Matchbox 20 takes us into the music on your New Life station.
President Donald Trump has been praised by some American religious leaders and criticized by others. Wallace Henley is in a unique place to look at Trump's presidency from a faith standpoint. Henley is a pastor, writes for the Christian Post, and worked in the White House for President Richard Nixon. Pastor Henley discusses this and Two Men from Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, Trump, and the Lord of History.
Of course, one of the things that Nixon did, and got much criticism for it, but one of the things he did was to institute a Sunday worship service in the White House itself. And I went to some of those services, and he felt like he was doing, setting a good example for the nation, but immediately was criticized on the basis of separation of church and state. So there's a sense in which the president on religious issues, whether it's Trump or Nixon or Obama or whomever, has a hard time getting it right. There's always somebody that's going to jump on it and call it out as a violation of Constitution.
Do you see any similarities, especially in a spiritual sense, between Donald Trump and Richard Nixon?
Yes, I see some similarities. Richard Nixon, his mother raised him, especially his mom and his grandmother too, influenced him and taught him prayer and all kinds of things. And he had this instinct towards spiritual things that would emerge when he was at a tight spot. And when he was undergoing his pressure to resign the presidency, he got a hold of Henry Kissinger, of all people, one day, one morning, one night at some point, and he begged Kissinger to get down on his knees and pray with him. I prayed with the president one time and Oral Roberts in the White House, and I could see that he was taught to pray from way back. But then on the other hand, we had the Watergate tapes that emerged, the Oval Office tapes that emerged, which showed him using the name of Jesus even in a very deprecating way. The same kind of ambivalence seems to be in the Trump White House, although I think he's more conscious of his conservative Judeo-Christian base, and so consequently maybe he tries to accommodate that to a greater extent. But I remember also when Nixon was going to China, about 4 or 5 days before he was to leave, my boss at the White House came into my office and said the president wants us to try to mobilize prayer for his China trip. We had so much at stake in that trip, including the release of our prisoners from Vietnam.